Hey everybody, Doug here. Welcome back to yet another board game channel and yet another round of Eldritch Horror. Still trying really hard to take down Ithaqua the Wind Waker. We had lots of good stuff happen last turn, like losing curses and gaining. Well, we just had good stuff, except the most important thing. We didn't manage to get that mystery finished. Well, I've got a couple of other investigators over there who I'm going to try to... They're close. Marie and Preston are close. They won't get there this turn, but next turn I can get them both up there so they can start working on that properly. Before we begin, though, a couple mistakes. One from last turn, and one that's sort of been going on the whole time, which is not so much a mistake as just shortchanging myself on something. The first thing, last turn, when the Omen track moved around to red, I said we didn't have any red. Well, I completely forgot about the Rome Gate, which is actually over on the Dreamlands board. So things didn't play out quite the same way. That was pointed out by viewer Raffy Drake. Thank you. Can't believe I missed that. So Doom would have gone down one, which means it's really important that we close one of the blue gates this turn, because if we don't, Marie will fail her personal story, and we don't want that. It also means that during the Monster Surge, we would not have spawned a gate. So we're going to put that gate back. And we know what it is, but I don't see it actually. It's not going to affect my gameplay decisions at all. And we would have actually spawned two monsters in the underworld, which is where the Rome Gate is. So we did draw that cultist, so the cultist does go there. And we would have gotten a second monster, which turns out to be a dimensional shambler, which is actually an observation test. Well, at least you don't... Oh, well, you don't take damage if you fail the observation test, but you do end up lost in time and space. So I'll just put that off over here on the sideboard. The other thing was, yes, as I say, I've been shortchanging myself, and it's with Preston. I was looking it up because I wanted to check the timing on his special action if he's on the same space as somebody. Turns out anybody can do their actions in any order on this. Yeah, his special action, you and another investigator on your space may each perform an acquire assets action and or a gather resources action. So all these times he's been trying to acquire assets, he could have also, because it says and, and with the or, he should have been able to gather resources. And I checked that that's what the ruling is. It does mean that you get to do both, not that each investigator chooses one. So yeah, he should actually be rolling in resources, which is awkward. Which means we probably could have been doing a lot better with getting him his stuff. So we will keep that in mind this turn. When we get around to Preston. Preston will not be first. I actually want him to go last so that he can use a special action and share it with Marie when it comes around. So that means we are actually going to start with Calvin Wright in the Himalayas, no longer on top of a gate. Okay, Calvin is first going to move down to space 17. I don't want to move him towards Shanghai because that puts him awfully close to the Dole, which affects things right next to it. So staying away from the Dole. I mean, if it moves this turn, it'll still... Actually, yeah, it'll still hit him if it moves this turn. So maybe we will, in fact... Okay, we will take a chance and move over to Shanghai, because if the... if the Reckoning kicks in, it's going to do damage to him anyway. Alright, Shanghai. Then for his second action, he'll use his special action, trading any amount of health and or sanity with another investigator on any other space, and then perform an additional action. He's actually going to give away 2 of his health, leaving him at 3. I'm going to give it to Marie, who I'm a little worried about because she's down to 2. So now she has 4. And then as his additional action, Calvin is going to rest, giving him back just a sanity, but because we're resting, we are going to try to get rid of his hypothermia and his internal injury. So we'll try to do the hypothermia first. We need 4, 5, or 6. 4, 5, or 6. That's a 2. Oh well. His internal injury. We're going to roll, and we need just a 5 or 6. Nope, got a 2 again. So we didn't get rid of either of those. That's too bad. Really want him to be able to heal properly so he can keep sharing his health with folks. Alright, that is all for Calvin. So now we are going to move on to Marie over in North America. Okay, first thing Marie is doing is picking herself up a train ticket and then spending that train ticket to move 2 train spaces to Arkham so that next turn she can get up to try to do the mystery. And that will be it for her. Now over to the Dreamlands to visit Leo Anderson. Alright, Leo is going to stay there because we really want him to close this gate. So, for his first action, we're going to do it special and see if he can get himself an ally for free. He can do that on any space. Got 3 dice. He does have a focus. I'm not going to spend it though because I want to save it for trying to close that gate. But you succeeded. So he's got a choice between the Arcanist, which will let him get some spells, or the Research Assistant. I think he's actually going to take the lower one. Because I'm hoping that Marie will be able to pick this up during Preston's turn, because that would be very useful for her. So he's picked himself up a Research Assistant. Roll a die. On a 5 or 6, gain a clue. On a 1, discard the nearest clue on the game board. We do have rather a lot of them on the game board, so I'm not too worried there. So that means he now has 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, count them, 4 allies. He needs 1 more to complete his story. First of all, we're going to replace in the reserve the Grim Lexicon, item tome. When you gain this card from the deck or reserve, gain a clue. Okay. Reduce the horror of monsters you encounter by 1 to a minimum of 1. Okay. That's pretty good, especially if it gives us a free clue. Then, for his second action, he is going to take a focus, because I really want him to be able to close this gate. So we're going to pick up a focus so we can have a reroll. That gives him 2, the maximum. Also, sacrifices to make. When you perform a focus action, you may spend 1 health and place 1 health on this card, then you may flip the card. Let's go ahead and do that. He'll still be at 4 health. Now, do I want to flip it or not? 3 or higher is usually best. I'm just worried that we're going to run out of time and not get anything out of this. So I think I might just go ahead. Yeah, let's do it. Sacrifices to make. You mix your blood into the particular blend of ground roots and powders. As the mixture dissolves, you feel your thoughts and reflexes being altered with new gifts. Oh, gain 1 talent condition for each health on this card, then discard the card. Okay, it's going to get 2 free talents out of that. Alright. Let's just put that card away. And the talents are all mixed in with the boons because they're something that if he managed to get if he manages to get one that's a boon as well, he'd get rid of his corruption, which would be wonderful. So we're going to draw from the bottom. So we got, okay, talent. He is practiced. Once per round, you may roll 1 additional die and re-roll up to 1 die when resolving a test. Nice. If you fail that test, flip this card. Okay, I think he's going to close this gate. Talent. It's not one of the boon ones. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test. Once per round, if you would lose 2 or more health, prevent 1 of that health loss, then flip the card. Okay, those are pretty useful, especially the practiced. It means he's going to be able to roll like crazy when he tries to close the gate. So, good. That just leaves us now with Preston, whose turn's going to get a wee bit complicated. Okay, first things first, Preston's going to move up to Arkham, getting him closer to the mystery for next turn. And then for his second action, he's going to use his special. You and another investigator on your space may each perform an acquire assets action and or a gather resources action. You can apparently do that in any order you want. So we're just going to have them both grab resources to begin with. So that gives them each 2, actually. Maria already had 1. Then I'm going to have Marie go first so she can either get that ally, which would be very good for her. If not, she can pick up the Ward Evil, because that's the service, which I don't think is going to count towards being an asset because you discard it right away. And that would be not very useful for Preston's story. He needs 2 more assets in his possession. So Marie is going to roll first. Her influence is 4. Actually, if she just rolls 1, she can get that. Yeah, she can get the Arcanist. So. But wow, okay, she's going on a spree. She just rolled 4. And yeah, let's say we're going to spend 1 resource putting it up to 5, so she can also pick up the Ward Evil. But first things first, she's going to pick up the Arcanist. When you gain this card from the deck or reserve, gain 2 spells, then discard 1 spell. We're really pulling for a glamour. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a lore test as part of a spell effect. So, spell deck, we're going to grab 1, 2 from the bottom. Nuts, neither of them is a glamour, which is what we really, really wanted. Okay, so let's see. We choose Plumb the Void, Ritual, Test Lore -1. If you pass, an investigator of your space, may move to any space. I like that. Or Dread Curse, Incantation. When resolving a combat encounter, you may test Lore of -2. If you pass, gain +8 strength during that encounter. that sounds really great, but I think in the long run, Plumb the Void is going to be more useful because it'll let us move people around to where they need to go. Because as it is, we're mostly avoiding monsters. So, she's going to hold on to that, and yeah, her lore is now a little bit better when casting spells. Right, so we replace that card with the Expert's Blade. Item, magical relic weapon. When you gain this card from the deck or reserve, gain 1 talent condition. It might be worth picking up just for that. Gain +2 strength during combat encounters. Then she is going to pick up the Ward Evil, just to give us more choices in the reserve for Preston to buy. When you gain this card, immediately discard 1 monster of your choice on any space with toughness 3 or less. I did look around the monsters earlier in anticipation of maybe picking that up. And yeah, there's nothing really super to get rid of. What was this? That was a 2. I think maybe I will get rid of the goat spawn simply because it is on a clue. All of the things that advance Doom are either too strong or epics, well, and therefore too strong. Yeah, but the ones that I would really love to get rid of are just way too powerful, like the Dole at 5. So we're going to get rid of the goat spawn just because it was parked on a clue. And we might want access to clues. Well, we always want access to clues. That is replaced by the Tommy Gun. Item, weapon, gain +4 strength during combat encounters. Alright, that was Marie, who, yeah, good job there. That was a pretty impressive roll. If we could only get that when we're trying to do the really, really important things. So now we will move on to Preston, who's rolling 5. His 6s count as 2 successes. Nice one, Preston. Okay, well, I may still spend his resources so that he can still purchase something, just to get him going. So yeah, we're going, actually, you know, he could take a bank loan too. I mean, what the heck? He's already burdened with so many other things. How could debt make things all that worse? So, and I don't want to spend his clues because he might need them to do the mystery next turn. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep people stocked up on clues and re-rolls and everything because we need to do that next turn. So he's going to spend his 2 resources. He should have more at this point, but I didn't know how to play Preston properly. You will also find him a debt condition, just a garden variety debt condition. And hopefully we don't get a reckoning. We've got a 50% chance of getting a reckoning this turn. Ugh. Yeah, okay, we're going to do it. Only because it means that gives him 4 to spend. Can't believe he didn't get a single thing there. So, first of all, yeah, we're going to have him pick up the Expert's Blade, mostly because it means he'll get himself a talent condition, and maybe that'll help him preserve him from other things. So, back to this deck. Talent, martial prowess. We might have to send him off fighting monsters. When resolving a combat encounter, you may gain +3 during that encounter. If you do, flip this card before resolving the test. That wasn't really up to much. That is replaced by the Agent of Secrets. And she gives us a +1 lore and a +1 observation, and you can re-roll 1 die during one of those tests. Then he's going to spend the other clue on the Grim Lexicon. So he's going to grab another clue, and monsters are slightly less scary to him. So just grabbing a random clue. And that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just bring them all up on camera so we can confirm that. Assets. Scroll of Secrets. So, well, you can read them all. I will just count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yes, Miss Doyle is a unique asset, but she is still an asset. That gives him the success for his personal story. After you or another investigator performs an acquire assets action, if that investigator has 8 or more assets, discard this card, gain the philanthropy reward. So what do we get? When you gain this card, improve influence and will. Okay. Once per round, when you or another investigator gains a resource, that investigator may gain 1 additional resource. So we're going to, he's already improved his will once, so we're going to flip that. So that puts him at 3 will. And he is also going to grab an influence improvement, putting him up to 6. So, I did say Preston's turn was going to be complicated. And it sure as heck was, especially given his poor rolling. Alright, that is finally everybody's actions. Now we're moving into encounters, back to Calvin Wright over in Shanghai. Alright, let's see what we encounter in Shanghai. The government wants to close Shanghai University, but you negotiate to stop them. I'm not sure how we have any influence over the Shanghai government, but there it is. We're going to test influence of 3. Uh-oh. He failed that. If you pass, if you fail, Chiang Kai-shek arranges a dire fate for you. Gain a blight condition. Ugh. Okay, I think that's that. What is that under? I can't remember what that's under. Just a second. Right, it's a Bane. When you gain this card, discard 1 ally. He has none. He's only got a single asset, his knife that he started with. And on a reckoning, the allies you surround yourself with act erratically and without cause. Flip this card. Well, as long as he doesn't have any allies, it's not a big deal. Alright, that's Calvin. Not so successful. Over to Arkham and Marie Lambeau. Okay, what awaits Marie? Arkham, come on. The administrator of Arkham's Historical Society take great pains to show you their extensive collection of historical documents. You may become delayed to gain 2 spells. Oh. I don't want to become delayed. However, if one of the spells she picks up is a glamour, she finishes off her personal story, and Preston is still there, assuming something doesn't happen to him. Okay, I feel like I didn't need this after all, need to take a chance just because there's a good chance it'll finish off her personal story. Because, yeah, we're only 2 doom away from her failing her story, and we don't want that. We don't want to fail stories. We really don't. So, we're just going to grab 2, Ritual, Glamour. There we go. Well, we'll look at the spells first. Oh, yes, and we will lie her down. She is delayed. So what did she pick up? She picked up Summon by Aki. Ritual, as an action, test lore. If you pass, move to a space of your choice within 2 spaces. Then flip the card. And then find gate. It is a glamour. Oh, play with the top gate of the gate deck revealed. And on a reckoning, we're going to test lore and flip the cards. So let's go ahead and flip over the gate, which, yeah, we know, because of my screw-up last turn, that it's the Himalayas. But then, if you have a Glamour, Incantation, and Ritual spells, discard this card and gain the Smoky Velvet reward. So we just saw the Glamour. She has a single Incantation. And she has 3 Rituals. So, okay, what does she get for that? Oh, when you gain this card, there we are, retreat doom by 1. Yay! Once per round, after you perform an action, you may allow another investigator on any space to perform that action. She can give away actions. Not next turn she can't, because she's going to be delayed and can't perform any actions, but still, we're going to move the doom back up to 9. And yeah, when it gets to 6, bad things are not going to happen immediately. So, yeah, it was a chance, but I think it was worth it. She's delayed, but I think we're okay. So, yeah, we're going to nip over now to the Dreamlands. Specifically, we're going to the moon to visit Leo Anderson. Alright, Leo steps through the gate. We're still on a wilderness space. He's still going to get an extra die. Last time he went to the past, now he's gone to the future. You find yourself in the near future, imprisoned in a compound with hundreds of plague victims. Ew. Resolve the pass effect to stay among the sick and try to help them, or resolve the fail effect to try to sneak out. Oh boy. Okay. Heaven knows which way this is going to go. I'm just looking at his stats. Everything's a 3. What can he roll on? Yeah, I have no idea which way this should go. Let's help out. You try to resist giving in to the disease. Will -1, which will be canceled by the fact that we're on a wilderness space. So it's going to be, so that's his will. He does have 2 focus. Oh, a-blowin lets him roll 1 additional die when using when doing a will test. So we're up to 4. I think with the with the 2 focus, we're okay. I could also use this practice, but if he fails, we're going to flip the card and something nasty will happen. And I might want to save this for something terrible that happens during the Mythos phase. So I think 4 plus 2 focus. Now, I more definitively want to close the gate. Because it will tick around. Okay, so we're going to use the practice and just really hope we don't. Oh, and we can re-roll up to 1. So I'm just going to put that sideways to remember that I've done this. So we're going to roll 5 dice, and we get a re-roll. And we got it on one of the 5 dice. So, please close the gate. Please close the gate. If you pass, one of the other inmates helps you to return to your own time to prevent this fate. Close this gate. Whew. Okay. The moon is now gate-free. Alright. Good on Leo. Getting stuff done. Except the mystery, which is what we most want to get done. Well, we will see now how Preston Fairmont fares in Arkham. And hopefully we don't lose him. Alright. Preston's turn. You find an odd object at the ruined Waitley farm. Gain 1 random magical asset from the deck. Alright, back in a moment. Okay, first things first, I forgot to replace the last item in the reserve. So the top item on the deck was an assassination service. When you gain this card, immediately choose a monster on any space. The chosen monster loses 2 health and discard this card. Then I had to go digging rather a lot. These are all now in the discard pile because I had to go looking like crazy for finally finding a magical asset. Got the holy water. You may discard this card to gain a +5 will and strength during a combat encounter. Action, you may discard this card to choose an investigator on your space. That investigator gains a blessed condition. Okay, being below, he could just bless himself to make sure he gets that done next turn. And the other good news, because all of this is now in the discard pile, there's plenty of allies in there for Leo to try to get. Of course, he only needs 1 more, and there's an ally on the board. Anyhow, that was only the first part of the encounter. Shredded notes litter the site. Test lore -1. Okay, his lore is only 2, so he's going to roll 1. Let's see, does he have anything that will help? No, that's only when doing spells. That's when doing spells. Nope. He's got nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing will help this. So, there we go. Okay, now he's rolling well. If you pass, you decode an arcane formula from the scraps. Gain 1 incantation spell. Okay, we're swimming in spells all of a sudden. It shouldn't take as long as going through assets. Yeah, right there. Wither. When resolving a combat encounter, you may test lore. If you pass, gain +3 strength during this encounter, and then flip the card. Okay, maybe we should send Preston on monster hunting duty, because he's got all kinds of stuff now. Although next turn he has a job to do, so he's going to work on that next turn. Alright, that finally gets us through the encounters. God, a lot happening this episode. But it's not over yet, because now we have the dreaded Mythos phase. Okay, here it is. Not a reckoning, and no tentacles. So, first things first, we are going to rotate the Omen track, bringing us around blue. We got rid of the other blue. We only have we have a red one, a green one, and a single blue. So that will bring our doom back down to 8. Then we're going to have a monster surge. On that blue gate, the pyramids are a terrible place to be right now. see. 1 in my hand and 2. What do we got? We've got a ghoul priest. Ugh. There it is. If you lose health from the strength test, gain a paranoia condition. On a reckoning, resolve the reckoning effects of the cultist as listed on... Well, okay, so nothing. On him, the reckoning effect means absolutely nothing. And color out of space, which is going to go, yes, to Tunguska. And... right, you only do a will test on this, and if you, after resolving it, you roll a die, so even if you fail, just resolve it, roll 1 die on a 5 or 6, then you defeat it. And yes, we will get stamps for those between episodes. That leaves us with a clue spawn. We're almost out of clues. I'm going to have to start over from the beginning again. So, I managed to get 2 at once. So, we're going to have a clue on space 20. It's down here. And, Celophaeus, out on the move, out in the Dreamlands. Okay, so let's see what terrible thing. There's a lot of flavor text. You cannot believe that this gibbering lunatic, who was once the smiling, lucid lawyer who you spoke to this morning, collapsed. His trembling hands indicated empty air. The worlds collided and the door collapsed. He abruptly pulls himself off the floor and looks out the small window of his cell. But so too will they pull. They will rip and tear, and a new door will open elsewhere. Dimensional instability. Discard each gate that corresponds to the current omen and advance doom by 1 for each gate discarded. So we're going to go ahead another doom because we're going to get rid of the gate in the pyramid. Still, at least that won't trigger when it goes around the blue again. So we're going to move down to 7. Hardly wonderful, but could have been much worse. We're still high enough. If we can just get that mystery done and see what our next one is, we have an idea if this is going to be feasible or not. And oh my god, the stuff people are holding on to. Preston, he's the millionaire. Of course he's loaded with stuff. Yeah. 8 assets to be specific. So, yeah, next turn, hopefully, we'll finish stage 2 of 3. We'll have to see. We had some fairly good stuff happen there. It's too bad Marie had to become delayed to finish her story, but she did finish her story. All definitely good. And we might get Leo to do his next turn. And that would be everybody. And I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Although I still have to remember all their positive effects. So, we'll see what happens next time. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Thanks for subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. It's appreciated. And we will see you next time for yet another turn of Eldritch Horror. So long.